Thank you everyone for the great discussion session on digitalization. It was absolutely well moderated by Mr. Panassi. Now, we begin with our next panel session, which is very important to be discussed in today's time on topic data integrity challenges and regulatory compliance. May I request our moderator of this session, Mr. Ankit Kumar, to please come on stage. Now, may I call upon stage our esteemed panelists. Dr. Hana Abdelmegid, Corporate Quality and HSE Director for Pharma Corporation. QA General Manager, Epoco 3. Dr. Mohammed Abbas, QA Manager, Utopia Pharmaceutical.
Thank you everyone for joining me for this discussion, and it is a pleasure to have all these pharmaceutical leaders from Egypt and Market sitting with me on the desk. So I would like to start asking the first question to Dr. Abbas, that what are the key reasons that pharma companies are committing the DI issues, and what is the basic reason for that?
I would love to thank everybody who came today. Before we talk about the data integrity violation, are pushing hard to change the mindset that the data integrity is not good to have. The data integrity is mandating now. And they are pushing and stressing all the organization and the quality management system with all the entails they got to comply with the data integrity. Now we can talk about the data integrity violations. Before we talk about the data integrity violations, let's give a slogan that I believe in, and I made it up. There is a slogan called, "It never looks like what it seems." When do we use this slogan? When we're gonna say, oops, it doesn't look like what it seems. When we take a minor decision with a very critical consequences. When you take a very minor decision, then the consequences of this decision is very critical. Now we say it doesn't look like what it seems. Exactly the same for the data integrity violation. Now we have some scenarios about the data integrity violations. We're going to say the item, then a documented story, then the impact on the business and quality. Let's start with the backdating. If we're going to start with the backdating, there was an audit on a manufacturing site for excipients, for the raw material, especially Avisal. It's called DuPont. They was subjected to an audit. The microbiology section, the pharmacist there, he took a decision for violating the data integrity. He backdated the worksheet for the media preparation approval after he had done the test. So he is using an unaccepted, unreleased media. This is a documented story according to a warning letter from the US FDA. What is the impact on the business? A critical audit finding, then they stop the activity of the firm. This is what I was talking about. It never looks like what it seems. Let's have another violation in the data integrity. Let's talk about username and password sharing. Username and password sharing is exactly like you go at the beginning of the day, you see the operator, like in the blistering machine. You find the operator, you tell him, congratulations, you have been promoted for being a manager. This is a very minor decision critical consequences. Can anybody here do that in his firm? Can anybody go to the operator and tell him, congratulations, you have been promoted for being a manager? Sharing the username and passwords between operators and supervisors and section heads is the same. It will have a critical consequences. Let's give a very short story. I have been through what I'm gonna say now. We were in the very early beginning, in the startup phase of the manufacturing site. We made a setup for the blistering machine. Then I found something very weird. In the reject pocket, we have good blisters. And in the good pocket, we have a defected blisters. It took us one whole day full of stress and hard work trying to investigate. Mislead in the beginning. We thought it was about the camera setup or the camera is not working properly. It took us one full day. Big manufacturing companies knows how to stop the manufacturing line for one day. You are working under stress for investigating a case. At the end of the day, we found that it was a data integrity violation. It was the first product on the machine. Then, the one who made the setup, he left the admin password open. Then what happened? The operator used the admin password. After he had used it, what happened? He started putting the steps and arranging the steps for the manufacturing. He put it in a wrong manner. Then at the end, what is the impact on the business? One, I have defected quality product. Two, I might have complaints from the market. Have like disabling of the audit trail. I'm not gonna talk about it. Dr. Amani did in her presentation, but let's see what is the impact of deactivating the audit trail option. Audit trail is made only for monitoring any change, modification, addition, deletion of the original data. If you're gonna skip or if you're gonna disable the audit trail option, you will never ever have a strong quality management system. You will never ever have a strong compliance. You will never ever have a strong change management system. So again, I'm saying my slogan, it doesn't look like what it seems. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Abbas, for a wonderful answer and for your practical experience, what you have gone through so far. And you rightly mentioned that the backdating and password sharing and disabling the audit trail is the common practices, and all these companies are getting into serious trouble when it comes to data integrity. And you rightly mentioned that. So I would like to ask a follow-up question, that what you as a quality manager think that what are the activities can prevent these problems which can lead toward good success of the company?
Yes. I think like the controls must be done from the beginning. There is a team leader, there is a training for the operators. It is a project, the push from the management, as Dr. Muhammad said. I think all this, like starting from the beginning, it must be a top management decision, followed by a team working on it, followed by to be integrity project is part of the company policy. It's not something optional. It's part of the company policy, and to have a team leader with like a big team and follow up and training, and I think it's going to be achieved easily.
You rightly mentioned if company follows such approach, then probably there will be no data integrity issues going forward. I have the follow-up same question to Dr. Hannah. What do you think on these areas? How companies are forced to commit data integrity problems?
Thank you for including me in this very fruitful session and seminar. Actually, I think data integrity issues comes originally from the corporate culture of the whole organization. Unfortunately, in Egypt, we are the culture of fear of punishment is dominating, which means that the employee is fearful if his manager or anyone found what happened in terms of data integrity violation, he will be punished, he will be fired. But if we look at it in a practical sense, like Dr. Muhammad eloquently explained in different examples, when the employee knows the actual impact of his data integrity violations and understand how his role in the organization, either he is an operator, any employee in the organization has a critical role in maintaining the safety and efficacy of the product that is delivered to the patients, who can be their relatives, their mother, their daughter, their themselves. He would believe in the importance of having ethical conduct within this organization. For example, if we always give this example, if an operator by mistake put 0.1 gram instead of 0.01 gram the API or the powder. If he didn't say it, if he didn't reveal it once it happens, what will happen? It will lead to a product, if it was missed in the analysis and it was released to the market, it will be a disaster. But if it was caught in the analysis, it will be, the whole batch will be rejected. And no one will know what was the reason behind that. But the impact of data integrity violations and its impact on compliance and the whole organization. We need, the main problem is the lack of continuous detailed training of data integrity in his aspect of work. Actually in what he is doing, what can happen that can be a violation, and how he can do the procedure or the work he does in the proper way. Should be the obligation of the management system and the top management system to establish and to deliver a detailed process and procedures and data governance that help the people to establish or to work in a integrity manner, to facilitate for them not to improvise if they do not know what to know. If a fresh graduate comes and works on the HPLC and found that the result of the analysis is not what is expected, he will be fearful. I did something wrong, I didn't do the right thing, so I will hide it. So I will do again. I will take another sample that is, I know it's proper instead of this sample. It can lead to major disasters and no one is knowing. But if he knows that he needs to ask, he needs to learn, if he doesn't know anything, he should ask immediately. And the role of the management is to provide detailed and systems and governance of data that helps the employees to do the right thing. Because, you know, Murphy's Law, if things can go wrong, they will go wrong. Our role as quality assurance professionals to prevent things from going wrong. And of course, the key thing for this is risk-based approach and risk-based thinking, critical thinking.
Yeah. Thank you so much for all your elaborate answers. It leads me to the following question to you, that you being a quality leader, what kind of control you would like to establish in your organization to prevent such kind of data integrity problems at your company?
Okay, it's a follow-up question that gives the answer to the first question. As I said, the first level, the foundation level, is the establishment of actual continuous detailed training, practical training. Imagine that the employee would, from the first time, understand and do the job as he learned. No, you have to repeat 1 and 10 times actually. And you have to measure the effectiveness of the training and to monitor the performance of the employee before the training and after the training to evaluate the effectiveness of the training. This is the first thing. The second thing, to establish a proper quality management system with proper data governance that can be divided into two parts, which is the second level. You have metrological integrity related to the equipment and procedural integrity relating to the system. For the metrological integrity, you have to make sure that the equipments are working properly through proper validation, calibration, and qualification. And for the procedural integrity, you have to maintain proper detailed for each step work instructions, policies, procedures. The third level or the third point in the foundation is to maintain or establish and maintain a corporate ethical structure. Ethics should be a part of the culture of each employee of this very critical industry, which is pharmaceutical industry, that has an impact on every human being in the world. There has to be established from the top management and then all the other levels to establish a vision based on transparency, encouraging culture of openness and transparency and admission of mistakes, and to be established on ethical behavior in general.
Thank you, Dr. Hannah. This is really wonderful to understand the real-time scenarios of pharmaceutical company. As you rightly mentioned, that the fear is one of the people, and they feel like if they commit something wrong and if it goes to the management, they will end up losing the job. But yes, you rightly mentioned that when they feel secure and they have the confidence from the management that management will take care of their mistakes, then probably we can avoid this kind of data integrity problems. Thank you so much for sharing your view, and I'll come back to you with a few more questions. So my question to Dr. Doa, what do you think about the data integrity? What makes people to commit the mistakes and commit the data DI problems in the organization?
Okay, namaste.
Thank you so much. It's good to hear.
Okay, problem associated with data integrity is mainly rely on more than one factor: organizational factor, technical, and human factor. Mainly, the organization is related to the strategy that is implemented and followed by the organization. Okay, related to how they plan and manage the audit. Okay, they want to be clear and honest with the audit, to hide some data or falsify some data. Some problems or another factor, which is documentation system. Is it under good governance? There is a good documentation system in place and in use. The people or employee aware that the documentation system is important for the process and for the quality, and also the level of quality adapted by the organization. The organization care about its image, vision, and the sustainability in the future. So they are always care about the quality of the product and their image in the market. The other factor may have impact on data integrity issues, technical factors. For example, this is related to the systems implemented. Is the system URS was sufficient, was the right first time, covering your specification and your process, or it's not integrity requirements. So the systems in place is important to be placed to cover the data integrity requirement.
I have a question here. How do you as a customer, how will you ensure that you are selecting the right partner for the system implementation? Because you may analyze and you may understand that after the implementation, the system is not implemented correctly. So what will be your approach to identify the right partner who can ensure that he is providing you the right support when it comes to technical areas? Because as you mentioned, the technical aspect is one of the most important area to prevent the data integrity problems. Because as I understand, implementing the solution software does not stop you to make the data integrity problems. But there are problems related to the system. If you are not implementing it right, then it will lead to a lot of problems.
Yes, 95% of data integrity success or less data integrity issues in the vendor that you make him a partner to implement your system. Vendor selection may be based on, of course, people experience in the company, but not only the experience. Always the company or pharmaceutical industry people know the process very well or understand the way of work they are follow. And always when they communicating with the vendor, they push the vendor to make or to mimic the current process regardless the guidelines. So make it matching with the guideline. So if the vendor or if the partner not honest, not clear, I found him not saying okay for every single word I said without evidence or referring to guideline. Okay, so it may raise the point of doubt. Okay, you have to guide me to make what I ask, because you are the expert, more expert you are. Suppose, of course, the experience, the log of projects that the vendor had in his profile, so you cannot, you are exposed many cultures, many companies.
Yes.
So you have to put your input and comments on my URS and on my specification. Both of us, it's a win-win situation. So if we make a good URS, if we make a good specification, you highlight that you do this part, as you said, but it's not 100% complying, okay, or always you have a gap, okay. So the discussions, the technical discussions, from my side, I just saying to him the process. I make a documentation system, which is I wanted the electronic judgment, so he have to inform me 1, 3, 4, 5 is negative. So both of us is a win-win situation. So the selection of the partner or vendor is very important to have a successful, effective electronic or computer system.
Yeah, I think I completely agree with your point. If a vendor has been in the industry for quite a long time, they understand that what to be implemented. They have done the work with a lot of companies who are complying with FDA, MHRA. So if you adopt the system and if you are capturing the experience of the vendor, then that will definitely get you the right system which comply with all the requirement. Thank you so much, Dr. Norat, for your wonderful answers. My next question to you, Dr. Abbas. Ethiopia is one of the forthcoming company in Egypt. So what are the different quality culture and different solutions you are planning to implement which will prevent the data integrity problem?
Actually, we have been working like for one quality project. The point is we want to make it like, we are not going to talk about the automated system as only an automated system. We need it to be integrated with the market. We've been working on this project for like a year and a half now. Our vision is to get or to have a very strong quality management system. Inside the site, we must be connected to the market. So we are making now a project that we are connecting the healthcare professionals with the marketing and sales, with the pharmacovigilance department, with the automated management system in Utopia. This is our goal. Let's talk about something. If you have 4 rings in your hand and they are dropped, each one is going to go in a different direction. But if the 4 rings are bonded together, it's going to be a chain. Chain is unbreakable. From this example, that we need the healthcare professional, if they have a complaint, if they have a comment, if they have an observation, if they have an improvement idea, this will be communicated with the sales and marketing. The sales and marketing is going to use an automated system. The automated system is integrated with the pharmacovigilance. Then the complaint or the recommendation is transferred to the pharmacovigilance. Pharmacovigilance department will start the assessment. Is it an ICSR or a complaint? After the pharmacovigilance assessment, they will be connected to the quality automated management system in the site for taking a fast decision. Now look at the cycle. We are communicating with the healthcare professionals on the spot. Once he complained, the marketeer or the sales started to communicate with the pharmacovigilance automated system. The pharmacovigilance will start assessment. After assessment, if it is a complaint, it will be automatically and automated integrated with a quality management system inside the site. So we are trying to think to break the norm, think bigger, not only talking about an automated system, but we're talking about a full integrated system from market to site.
Thank you. I have been the part of multiple round of discussion with your leadership team, and we understand the vision, the way you are working, then probably it will be our next, I think, setback here in Egypt, that one company has got full automation, starting from your QMS, then DMS connected to your pharmacovigilance, EBMR and APQR. So it is going to be a good step. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing your experience. And my question is to Dr. Hannah, how do you think that the current regulations and guidelines are playing vital role in this moment?
Actually, the field of data integrity was recent. يعني it started with Alcoa principles in the 90s, and then it evolved into the Alcoa Plus in about 2010. It's very recent. And then lately they have Alcoa Plus Plus. They included traceability as well. The thing is, the guidelines, either by EMA, WHO, FDA, PICS, provide general guidelines without the detailed practical implementation recommendations. We have mainly MHRA, MHRA guidelines, accompanied by ISEP and PDA and GMP, GAMP, that can provide detailed instructions that help more the companies that need to implement the guideline. I don't have enough experience because it's an evolving field to help with the guidance. The issue is data integrity guidelines and rules will continue to evolve more and more by time, and as Dr. Muhammad mentioned, it's a mandatory requirement. You cannot negotiate it, and you have to abide by it. Even the Egyptian Drug Authority started since its separation from Ministry of Health and becoming an independent entity, is focusing more and more on data integrity and the implementation of data integrity in all pharma companies, and they have continuous monitoring for this purpose. The guidelines, the people need to know which guidelines that can provide to them the practical implementation recommendations and steps, so that they can actually implement data integrity, not just put it in paper and no one knows how to implement it.
Yeah, I think you rightly mentioned that across the globe remains same, but it is always on the papers until unless you get into the detail and make your people understand to follow the same, it does not going to solve the problem.
Exactly. The main issue is in paper but not in use.
Yes.
So we have to make the procedure itself, and the structure of the procedure has to be written by the process owner in a simple language, as I said, foolproof, with all the details possible, not to leave a room for interpretation that always lead to violation.
Yes. Thank you so much for your answers. My next question is to Dr. Doa. What are the best practices you are going to imply in your organization to prevent data integrity problems going forward?
Okay, to prevent data integrity violation, I think that the first thing that you have to put in place and in use data integrity procedure. Okay, whether you have hybrid system, electronic or digital system, or even paper. Okay, the risk of the systems, of course, the paper is the worst, the digital is the less, but in all conditions you have to put a system for data integrity control, which is related to audit trail auditing, training employee on ethics and data integrity requirements, frequent internal audit for the system. You have to check or make a mapping for your current or operated system to highlight which is direct impact on the product, direct impact on the quality system, which system need validation, which system can make verifications. Okay, assure that if you have a hybrid system, which is most critical in data transfer between hard copy and to the digital, part of the system, so you have to put SOPs or procedure easy to be followed, okay, and tracked to avoid. Okay, in addition you have to, I forgot.
So I think this electronic software is also one of the area wherein you can define the procedures and let your people follow what you have written in your whatever process you have defined in the software. And if it is a system-driven procedure defined in your SOP, then probably it can prevent a lot of problems. What people generally write in their daily quality modules like your deviation and kappa and change control. So will this help? I mean to say that if you are writing some softwares, like you have defined some process in the software, and you force your people and train your people to follow the same process, will this help the organization to commit the mistakes?
Okay, software help to minimize data integrity, but people training and people believe in this software that it will better performance and less quality issues and improvement for your performance as operator as well as the company, and the ROI of these softwares will be benefit for both employee and companies. Of course, it will be help. I cannot make a software and enforce or force the people to work with it, and they cannot understand the importance of this software. So now the company or organization invest in a wrong way. So people should believe that this software will help him to perform in a better way, to make more profit for him and for the organization, to make less pressure, work pressure on the operator or employee. So he will be eager to follow the software and implement, and if there is a problem in the software, he will escalate it, okay, to be more beneficial for him and for the organization, of course.
Help the people to understand that what kind of problems industry is facing with respect to data integrity problems and the areas wherein they can improve and they can build up the quality culture. Thank you so much, team, for joining me for the discussion. And since we are running short of time,